welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker Training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of FMTrain.tv. Very exciting. We're getting ready for next week. There's still some dialogue with Claris as to what they're doing. We are broadcasting in high definition on YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. Let's talk about the upcoming broadcast schedule. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this and lay the groundwork on this. Upcoming broadcast schedules right here. Today is the mechanical thought processes for writing scripts. And a number of you have come back and said, if you use the special Kung Fu steps of 1, 2, 3, then you can write scripts in FileMaker, and it allows you to solve a great number of problems. And so the question for today was provided by Dennis Chow. And so I'm not going to pick on Dennis in any way. It was an exceptionally great question. He cooked up a little sample for me, and we're going to spend the rest of today working on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up the updated mechanical thought process for writing scripts. And this is the curriculum that we have been working on, or I've been writing on over here. Once again, this gets back to this idea that how do we script and how do we code, right? Well, the intimidating part about AI, for example, is that you think of it and you have this, and if you understand what's going into it, it's like learning about APIs. You got to learn about JSON, you got to learn all this sort of stuff. And it's like, it's a big lift for newer people. And all they do is they have this big, it's like, I want to lose weight. Well, how are you going to lose weight, right? Go on a diet? Oh, but I got to lose all this weight and I got to change my life. And it's this big thing. And what you have to do, and this is a great, it's eating an elephant, right? Once again, I don't advocate eating elephants, but if you're going to eat an elephant, you're going to do it one bite at a time. You don't worry about all the rest of the elephant. You're going to eat one bite at a time today. Today is one day. We're going to be on a diet today. We're going to learn our one thing today about FileMaker. We're going to learn the one thing about AI. We're going to learn whatever. It's a bite at a time. That thought process is how you write scripts. You don't see, oh my God, it's a giant script. What you do is you're looking at step 1. I'm going to have this bite. Okay. And step 2. And so the idea with this is that here is the critical piece. And then we're going to jump into Dennis's question, because what I'm doing is I'm laying out what we're going to do. And Margaret's going to be prepping at least one thing for all of you, the documentation, which
yes.
This is great. I love this documentation. And so the idea is that we're going to pretend that a coworker, we're going to pretend in Dennis Chow's situation that a coworker calls Dennis and says, I need this thing solved. And Dennis is going to be on the phone, walking them through it verbally, not showing them, walking them verbally through FileMaker. Okay, go to find mode, go here, go to this layout, go here, go that. If you can explain someone how to do it manually, by hand, you can write a script that'll do it. It's that simple. And we break it down into little bite-sized chunks, step by step. Just pretend like we're telling someone how to do it manually. And then we're going to tell the script how to do it. So with that in mind, I'm going to fast forward here. These are the demos and things that we had done previously. We're going to follow the same formula today as we always have. So here's what we got cooking. So basically, I have a CRM, and this is what your coworker says to you. I'm on the work orders, and the customer wants to see like it's a work order, which will become an invoice. So and actually this directly applies to Big Valley Aviation, the helicopter stuff. So I can use that as an example. But Dennis came up with the same problem on his end, and I don't even know what Dennis does. Right? He might manufacture pool toys. I have no idea, right? And so the idea is that if you have a project or a work order and you have staff, I'll use the word staff loosely because they be contractors, employees, whatever, they're working on the project. As they log 3 or 4 hours on the project, they should log that. And so what happens is your employee, Dennis, gets this phone call, says, hey, I've got this invoice / work order, whatever it is, we're going to send to the customer. And we want to attach the timesheets to that. However, so this is the work order, and this is the timesheets that we have. However, okay, is that we don't want like super detail, like James worked on it on Saturday afternoon because he worked on the weekend, and then Ken was mostly working on it here. We just want to see Ken at a total, Brandon has a total, James has a total. So it's an aggregate total, and it has to, and so we want to put it on this layout so when we print it, the customer can loosely see these are the people and they spent these hours on it. Now, the customer might want to see drill down and get each date and more details, but Dennis, that's not the request we have. We already have the time entries where these people go into the computer, they got the time clock, or they do some data entry, or they put it on their phone or whatever. It goes into FileMaker somehow. And so one record in this system, I'll just define this verbally for everyone. One record of a time entry is going to be for an employee for a work order for say a day, right? So if like down at Big Valley, they have 4 or 5 helicopters in there, and each mechanic might work on 2 or 3 different helicopters in a day. So each day, they're going to create a record for each helicopter for different companies for that. So if you work on 3 helicopters during one day, that's 3 records in FileMaker. And if you work on 2 helicopters the next day, even if it's the same helicopters from before, that would be 2 entries the next day. So the idea is we need to kind of aggregate this. And this is such a great conversation. This is so fun. It's like almost like I paid Dennis to ask this question. Such a great question. I feel like I have to pay Dennis for this. This is so good. So the object loosely is to modify the portal so it appears that there's one line per employee with a sum of the hours that employee below is what is. So this is what basically Dennis said, well, this is really what we want to put up here. So this like super noisy one with, Ken's in here like 4 times. It should be 1 record for James, 1 record for Brandon, 1 record for Ken. And of course, all of you would say that makes perfect sense. So let's talk about this. So then down below here is my conversation that I was writing up. So we're going to go through this verbally, then we're going to build this. I have not built this. We're going to build it together. And because I'm going to build it together with you, we have instructions, and you'll see the instructions on that. I'm going to give all of you the instructions on how we might want to do this. But the way we would do it, it's so great, is like how we would explain someone on the phone. So possible solutions, some are clever, advanced, okay? What I want to caution people on is that at the end of the day, no one cares that you're clever or advanced with your solution. I used a triple predicate relationship with a triple grandchild, blah, blah, with a SQL, blah, 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 and a plugin, blah, 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 okay? No one gives a shit, okay? They want it to be reliable, 1, and 2, when they press the button, they don't want to have to get a coffee because it's so slow, right? So once again, reliable, not slow. 2 criteria from the customer, and it's accurate. We'll just assume the numbers being accurate is some assumed thing. Okay, planning. Fact 1: timesheet entries should be aggregated by employee if the employee has more than 1 time entry. Okay, the employees might have no records for a project. They might have 1 record, or they might have more than 1 record. However, if they have 1 or more time entries, they should have 1 entry on this revised, I'm going to call it the aggregated list. Aggravated. We have an aggravated function over here. All right, so
revolting.
Yeah, we're revolting, right? So this sounds. So what we first thing we do is we think, hey, this sounds a lot like a sub-summary, because if you had a portal, isn't there this thing called sub-summaries that we can put in a portal? No. And that's kind of unfortunate, and I would call Claris, tell them to put it in there, but they would just ignore me and whatever. So yeah, so I've got enough problems with Claris right now without adding to their to-do list. So so the sub-summaries work on a list view basis. So I'm just going to, I need I don't know, this is the sample file we're going to play with. Did he put a list view in here, tables? Try that. Oh, okay. Well, okay, let me do it as a list. Let me do that. Will it do that? Oh, he locked it down. Don't lock me down. If you lock me down, I'm going to get grumpy. Views. Enable form view, list view. So I pressed the pencil right here, by the way, which is the same as going to layout setup, right?
I'm pretty sure you hit cancel on that, right? Yeah.
Oh, I did. Okay.
I was like, was that intentional?
No, not at all. All right, and then so what I'm gonna do, I got this up here. The problem is I need to put in this here. I'll put in. Wow, that sucks. Hang on. Let me see if I can grab all these. But I want to put it like down here. I can put it like that. I'm gonna do it sideways and put the label above, and give me these right here. Okay. So then we do something like that. Okay. Now here's the deal. We have this. This data over here somehow is spewed into this portal over here, right here, okay? I'm not to the point now where we're solving the problem yet. I'm just laying out possible answers we might think about and why they don't work. So this is our report, printout report. The printout report will be about an invoice or a work order or a project or something, okay? The supporting, in quotes, documentation, the supporting documentation is going to be some of these time entries, and you could have also parts consumed and other things that went in the project. This is just the labor part right now. The data is entered over here, so everyone remember this is one record per person, per project, per day. So if you work on 3 projects in one day, it's 3 records for that one person, okay? Yeah, and so you keep putting, there should be a date in here. That's fine. I'm just laying that out there. The sub-summary you would put in a list view. So a sub-summary would allow you to sort by sort ascending. So we have, like this person here, a person here, person here. There's multiple entries in here for someone wherever they are. Or wait a minute, it's time card. Doesn't matter. The point is that if you had 2 identical people in here, you'd have a sub-summary, right? Ed put it over, or Dennis put it over here. That's fine. But the idea is that you can the sub-summary, which is really an awesome feature, only works in a list view, which means that for the sub-summary to work for what we want to do, we'd have to be on a layout that is a list view of the time sheets the time records they enter. But we're not outputting that. We're outputting a data entry form view on a work order project. So sub-summaries wouldn't work over here. So we can't use sub-summaries, but that's really what we want. And so if I told Ed Burkle, because Ed Burkle was talking about this, or Ken, or any of the other folks there, David, Angel, Jesse, if I said, how would we solve this? And the person called me on the phone. Well, okay, so how would we verbally solve this, right? Well, and you're on the phone, like, well, are you in front of FileMaker? Okay, log in, yes. Now, you'd have to give the person, make sure they have the credentials to get where you want to go. We're going to go over here, okay? And we're going to do a find for the project. So you'd come over here and you'd do a find for the project, okay? That's great. Now, after we find for the project, let's sort by the name of the person, right? Sort by their name. Now, and then you're talking to the person, pen, paper. Here I am over here waving my hands. Okay, so your employee is Mohammed. He's at the office, and Mohammed needs to kick this report out. So Mohammed, do a search for project XYZ51. XYZ51. We're doing a find. Find it in the time entries. Now, perform a sort. Okay, we're going to sort by the name or the ID of the person. Probably don't sort by just their first name, because how many Kins you might have, right? That's why we call him hot air balloon Ken, not just Ken, okay? And so you sort, and then you're gonna say, Mohammed, you see those 3 people, those first 3 records, that's the same person. Yeah, I see those, okay. See those numbers? Yeah, what are those numbers? 5, 3, 2, and 1. 5, 3, 2, and 1, there's 4 records, okay. 8, 5, 3, 2, and 1, and add it up. Okay, so we got 8 and 3, so we got 11 hours total. Okay, so now I want you to start a new list, and I'm gonna put in Ken, and he has 11. So Mohammed goes, oh, now go down to the next person. Well, he's only in there once. That's Sally. She's in there. Sally's in there. 1 record, she has 7.5 hours. Okay, so we got Ken, we got Sally, right? That's great. Now the next one down has 4 records or 8 records or something. And so you're telling them to look at these and add them up. That's all we're gonna do. That's all we're doing. That's what the rest of today. So if all of you understand what I just said, you can just hang up, the show's over. If you want to see how I do it, you're going to find this funny, because this process, which I'm giving to you verbally, Claris put this in the FileMaker 3 manual back in 1947, when the Pony Express was no longer Pony Express, but we still had, ships and steamships and all this sort of stuff. And there was no internet, and electricity was kind of, right? And you had lights, no microwaves, you had lighting. Lots of smoggy cars. Back in that day, FileMaker Pro 3 existed. And when they wrote the manual for this product, and I actually, back in the day, it was reading material in the bathroom. I mean, people would read other stuff. I'm sitting there reading the FileMaker manual. How screwed up is that? And I'm reading the manual, and I found this page, and it was so shockingly great that I saved it in perpetuity forever. And henceforth, what we're going to pop up right now. I have this, it's called scripting records, finding duplicates, okay? It's the same thing, okay? And what Claris did is that they wrote this in here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to widen this out a little bit. And this is out of their documentation in section 5-24 of the FileMaker 3 manual. And you can't even find the FileMaker 3 manual for it. And some of the PDF here is the fonts are getting a little funky, but it mostly works. And what ends up happening is that you're going to, you need we're trying to find a unique record. So we're going to go through this to build this out. And it's this right here is a kind of a programmery way of doing what I said verbally. But we're going to follow along with their script, okay? That being said, before we do this, we have to make an executive decision on something. The executive decision is on the fact that that when we aggregate this data together, we can do it one of two ways. There's a lot of fancy ways to do it, but I'm talking about basic data storage. We can stick, like, this could be a field right here. In fact, I hadn't even thought about this until Dennis sent me this, and he kind of dummied up what he thought it might look like. This can be a single field with a return delimited list in it. Could do that. Or this could be a portal with aggregated records in it. So this would be 3 records in a portal. And you're like, well, but over here, if we, because over here are the time entries, we don't want to really mess with that too much. I'm waving my hands, I can't see. So this is like the sanctity of, it's a sanctity of the database. You must not alter it. So as people put time entries in, you just don't want to go in there and say, Ken, put a new line in for Ken and put 11 or 12 hours, or delete the other 2 and total them up. You're tampering with the original data, okay? That's bad juju, okay? So what you need to do is you need to either put this in a field that's saved, maybe a field that we define here, or we put it in a cached portal, right? This idea kind of, some people call it a virtual list essentially, but if I say virtual list, everyone's eyes are going to glaze over and they're like, Richard, this sucks, I don't understand. So how about we just explain it one bite at a time? We're eating the elephant. We got the guy on the phone. We're doing tech support. We're having him walk through this. So what I'm going to say in advance is that he's going to use pen and paper on the phone to total things up. But we want something more than pen and paper. So I'm going to come over here to FileMaker. I'm going to Command-Shift-D. I'm going to define a database table. Cached. I'm going to call it employee project totals. Okay. Ooh, not a plus. So one record totals. So one record is going to be one employee's contributions for a project. Okay. If I say create, so this is one record here is employee. The time card over here is going to be employee time card. Record. I'll say record per EE is employee per project and per day. So this is once again 4 or 5 records for the project over a number of days, and then we're going to aggregate that. I'm going to just change this so we get an idea what that is. So once again, now if Nick was here, he'd be like, we're going to do a triple relationship, blah, 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 right? And I like Nick, it's great, but that's when you're at my level and you want to be an intermediate developer and do stuff reliably, just simplify it. You don't need there. I can see people like, oh, Richard, you should know a simple relationship with a predicate, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, script it, write the script like you're talking about it. So I'm going to say, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that right there. For the moment, I'm going to go ahead and close this because I've done all the pre-advanced work I can do. So that's a source file that Dennis gave me. This is he's got all these fancy, I always like these like ZK. So Z, I don't know why we put Z in there. I think that's a Soliant thing they did. I don't know what that is. Go to browse mode. Let's see. So we got hours, got the employee ID, and then he's probably got a relationship. Dennis, you're making it hard. So we have the work order, we have the time card, and then to simplify things, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lookup over here. and have it look some data up over here. So it's just simplified. Once again, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for people. So if I say, go ahead, Margaret.
I was going to ask, what exactly are you trying to look up and why do you need it again?
Because it's designed correctly. There's nothing wrong with these design, but it's harder to pitch this to brand new people. So once again, it's difference between being a Kung Fu Ninja developer and not. So if I say, let me say okay here, say save all changes for save. So what he's got cooking is that, now, okay, back up. Let me go to relationship. This is the work order. So we're working on a helicopter, needs an annual inspection. Fine. This time card is, once again, this is one record per employee per day for a project. This is one record in here is a unique employee. Like employees only in here once, just like the staff database, right? So if you want the name of the employee, it's over here. Name, last, first, T, right? See these? So it's fine, but I want to keep things simple. So what I'm going to do is as who create records over here, I'm going to have it look up. So if I go to the field name over here, I go to fields, I go to time entry card. I get the employee name. I'm just going to copy in the name of the employee so it's clear. That way I don't have to use an extra relationship. Dennis, is Dennis following this? Hopefully he understands. I'm kind of simplifying it a little bit for the point of this conversation. If I double click, I click on this, I say options under, once again, Nick's going to be talking validations coming up at some point in a couple weeks. Don't use these. Auto enters are great though. We'll say lookup value. We're starting with the time card and you're getting the data from the employee database and we want name full, okay? So that's their time card over here. If I go to layout mode, let's see. Yeah, it's a little bit, once again, it's me crafting this and building this so we get everything going. And folks, just following along with me here just for a moment. This will get simple because I'm simplifying this as best we can. So then we have the work order ID. So this is the project they're working on. This is the project ID, okay? So once again, it has a crazy name, work order ID, and then it is the foreign key, right? Okay, so there we go, nice and simple. And then I'm going to move this up here like this. And then I do need the time entry. And ideally, we'd also have the date on here, but I'm not going to terribly worry about it right now because it's an extra thing that doesn't really matter what we're doing. So we need the hours worked right here, okay? And then we can make sure there's a label on that. I should have done that. It goes in here. So we'll go to browse mode. What do we have? Oh, switch to, there we go. All right, so what we have is we have the employee name is blank, but it's attached to this work order, and these are the hours, which corresponds to the stuff over here. Let me see, Claire. Yeah, this one, right? Well, 198.29. There we go, at 198.29. So that record 3 there corresponds to these records right here. Now, what's also over here, this is why he built this technically correctly, is that the employee name is here. But you built it so the employee ID is really here. So if I say ZK employee ID foreign key, once again, the Z and the K are just to help. It's shorthand so it sorts correctly. I don't write them that way, once again. So if a lot of you think that there's some sort of magic, the ZK is totally arbitrary and doesn't need to be there, okay? If you're a newer developer, or you're naturally going to have a hard time following this conversation. That's why up here, all this is the employee, once again, and I'm not saying don't do it this way when you're developing. I'm just saying in training, I've got 25 minutes here to make this all come together. We may run a little bit late here with this. I just don't know. I'm not gonna rush this. Either it works or it doesn't. So I got browse mode. So we have this here, but the name is not right here. And the problem is why I don't use UUIDs is because brand new people don't understand these. They're like, well, how come this is 9.1 and this is A9 and why this is CBD? So CBD, that's because this is marijuana right here. So anyway, come over here. I'm gonna click on this, Margaret, to do a relookup. I'm gonna right click. I'm going to say, relookup is not a keyboard shortcut. All right, never mind. Relookup. So anything that's based upon this will fire if they're lookups. And I'm going to say, well, it's going to attempt to relookup, Margaret, refresh these 7 records.
Oh.
So now it makes more sense. Now people are going, oh, I got it, right? So I'm not picking on Dennis. This is just because this right here has to look like this here, then people get it, right? There we go. Now we've got this in a list view that we can process. And so what we want to do is, I also have a new window, and I want to pop out the new, this field, this one right here. So I'm going to go to, this is where the totals are going to go. You're like, really? Yeah, we're going to, oh, I don't have any fields in here yet. Okay, let's go to fields. Oh, and by the way, some of you asked, Larry the Marine asked that we have a show on the default fields when you create a new table. And that's a good one because I would just program it to delete the out of everything because it's confusing. We say ID, this we have one here. This is the, I'm going to call it, I can say the word, do we prefer the word totaled or aggregated?
Totaled is, well, you're typing aggregated, so we're going aggregated total, I guess. We could do both.
Aggregated total, which kind of can work together. We say create. So that's going to be, oh, it's going to be a number field. I'm going to change it. Yeah, oh, that's a primary key. Never mind. Damn it. Hang on one second. I'm going to change that. We're just going to create the option here. I'm going to have a serial number create real quick. Auto enter is good. Validation bad. We're going to say it just AG aggregated or AT aggregated total 0, 1. Okay. And we say okay. And then we also need a ID of the work order foreign key. ID work order underscore foreign key. So it's a foreign key. We don't auto enter. We create that. We want the ID of the staff foreign key. Create probably staff name. Create, and then text create. Okay, and then we just need the hour total hours aggregated. I'll just call it aggregated hours. Okay, it's not really a total. It is, but it's aggregated. Just means kind of grouped. I think. Is that irrigated?
Yeah, it's an E, I think.
Okay, I irrigated the hours. Okay, create that as a number. Hang on. All right, so now we've laid this out. So everyone follow what I've done. So if I go back, so I've got this right here. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, we're gonna go long today. I can't do anything about that. I'm gonna go as fast as I can, but at the end of the day, I don't really super care because I'd rather get this done completely. Plus Dennis wants to see this, although Dennis probably knows what I'm doing by now. It's pretty simple, especially if you have that other piece, that manual from FileMaker or whatever. But my job is to make it so you don't need any training or manuals to do this. That makes sense? So there's your aggregate totals up there. Come down here, come up here, go like this. Okay, go to browse mode. So there's no records, create a new record. Okay, great. So what we would say, so let's pretend like we're on the phone with Mohammed. Mohammed, come over here and find this work order. Okay, so work order, this one, okay, comes over here, find this work order, got it, find. Okay, now I need you to sort by the name or something. Okay, there's Brandon, BJK, perfect, okay, whatever, you sorted, and they're grouped together. Okay, so find the first person, yes, and is this is the first person, is this name repeat on the next line? No. So all we need to do is say, okay, so Mohammed, grab the employee ID, come over here to this window over here, create a new record, which I did. Here's the staff ID right here, okay? Then there's the staff name. Just since you're here, just get his name. Don't bother, just do it, okay? You don't need a relationship. Just copy and paste it. We already got it, okay? Copy, paste. We're not gonna use copy and paste, but effectively that's what we're doing, okay? What's the work order this is attached to, just so we have it? Don't forget, let's put the work order over here. How many hours did he totally work? 3, got it. Mohammed goes, dude, that was easy. It gets harder, Mohammed, stay with me on the phone. You could remember you're doing this verbally. Mohammed, go to the next person. Oh, some dude named James. Oh, didn't he get fired last week? Not yet, he's gone, but we still got to do the report. So, okay, well, he's here and he's on record 2. Is he on any other records? Yeah, he's on the next record. Is he on the record beyond that? No. So it's only these 2? Okay, let's get his stuff set. So we're gonna copy his ID, create it up, no, over here. What do I do? Oh, do I get rid of Brandon? No, new record, Mohammed, new record. The record went away. Where the hell did the record go? Okay, you're viewing as a form. Just press this little button right here. Little view as a list. I can see the other record. Great, Mohammed, thank you. Okay, here we go. So staff ID, paste it in there. Okay, James Fiddler. Yeah, that guy was an to me. I'm glad he's fired. Okay, great. Come over here. Work order ID is the same. Well, it's the same work order you had before. Yeah, copy paste that over. Now, how many did he work? He worked 1 hour. Are you sure? Well, he worked 2 hours the next day. No. Mohammed, I need the total of both. Oh, 3 hours. Put that over here. Okay. Now, I'm going to make this one a little faster. You understand. This is literally the process. Okay. I'm going
I
faster.
appreciated the live reenactment of the inevitable discussion.
I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be boring at all. I really did. I detest. Listen, I go back and sometimes I watch my videos, and if they're boring, I'm like, okay, I get an F minus. One-legged A is an F minus, right? I don't want to be boring. I want to be excited. So I don't know what the total is for this dude right here. So
9 plus 2 plus 0.5. So 11.5.
Okay. So then, okay, can you add that up? No? Okay, calculate. Mohammed, get a calculator. Start typing. Ding. Out comes 11.5. Now you're ready. And so then you would come over here and you're like, well, I've got this data ready to go. We want to see it on here. This is where, well, what you tell Mohammed is to copy all these and stick them in a Word file and attach it or something, right? But you have the data here in a portal, so all we have to do is connect it up. So this is a little more FileMaker-y and less discussion, but now all of you have seen what we did. This is the raw data. This is the aggregated data. This is one portal. This is a cached reporting portal. It's a storage portal. Your end users will never directly interact with this unless you're walking Mohammed through it on the phone. They'll never see this. Well, they won't manually interact with it.
So basically, they won't ever interact with that layout. They'll just interact with the portals of that layout on other layouts.
Well, here we go. So we need to see this. So this is cached employee over here. I'm going to put it over here. Remember anchor buoy and all that. I'm not into that, but so what I need to do is I need to connect the work order over here to the work order foreign key right there. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. It's hard to see. Boop, boop, boop. All right, so work order, time card, employees. This is the cached employee aggregated time card, whatever I call it over here. Project totals. And it's cached because we were going to run a script that's going to build this. So that's where this ends. So today it will be over when I finish the script that builds this, okay? So we're going to go through that. So we got this, we hit okay. We come over here. We're like, well, this layout really sucks. You know, Dennis, this is like not great. So, oh yeah, oh, this is fake bakery. All right, here we go. Put this over here. That's what he wanted to look like, okay? Dennis is like, I want it to look like that. Okay, so let's get a portal right here. Bring it down here. Connect it to the. Now this is also why we number because you can't. Some of these are are children, and some of these are grandchildren, and you can't tell based upon the name. So it should be TO1 A. TO1B is right here. TO1A1 is this one right here. Right? You follow? Yes. That's why we put numbers on. You could tell the levels by the naming, right? So I'm going to select this. I'm going to say sort the records for. I don't care about any of that. Hit OK. It says, what fields do you want? I want the staff name and aggregated hours, and hit OK. That's it. And then, of course, I go here. I create the label. I go here, create the label. And so then this more or less should be what he was looking for. Now, the problem is Mohammed had to build it by hand. That sucks, okay? But now we have a plan. So what we're going to do is we know this, what it looks like. We're going to write a script that's going to build this automatically, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say all these are going to be attached to work order 11111, okay? There we go. So they're now disconnected from here, but we have them as a reference in the event that we care. All right, so we're going to want a button over here. Okay, so we want a button. We're going to run the button over here. Actually, we don't even need the button. I'm not going to worry about that. We have a button here. It's going to run a script. It'll be on the work order. This button will say something like, please print out a copy of this work order, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and so he's got a couple triggers here. I'm not sure what that's about. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to say exit script, not application. I just don't want the triggers to fire. That's fine. That one there is fine. Okay, great. So this one here, we'll just exit. That's fine. All right, so we're going to do a thing. Create and print work order report. Okay, and we're going to assume the first assumption is, did I hit that? No, it didn't go. What is it though? How come I'm, there we go, that one. Sometimes I do that, doesn't go. Assume user is already on the work order record they want to print. Okay, great. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just up front, I'm going to say set error capture, set error capture on, whatever, fine. Okay, come down here. Now let's set some variables to capture. Once again, this is kind of copy and paste, but I'm going to set a variable right here of the work order ID to process, right? So we got that. I got monkey bread in here. That'll help us with that. I'm going to come down here and say we're on the work order. I need the primary key right there. Okay, great. We've got that in there. So now we have stored, we have the work order, okay? And then we're going to say pop a new window. So let's say new window, okay? And we told Mohammed pop a new, because these are all the steps that we told Mohammed to do on the phone. Document window. Please don't use card styles unless you're going to have the user really interact with stuff. There's restrictions in how card styles work. And we're going to say go to layout, what layout we want to go to. We want to go to layout that has the developer employee, this one right here, okay? And we're going to give it the name source time cards. Okay, very important, Margaret. I'm going to copy this right here. Do I have a post-it note here? New post-it note, paste. I want that name right there, just in case I'm going to come back to that, because it's going to pop a window that we know what the name of the window is, okay? And then we're going to say, enter find mode, okay? Pause, off. Okay, what are we going to search for? No, that Margaret ran it. Okay, Margaret's laughing because she ran into this 2 days ago. It's like, why does a find stop? Okay, because there's a pause in there. We're going to say set field, and we're on the time card entry, so we're going to say, we're on that one, okay? And we want to find the work orders, right? Work order foreign key, okay? You could say go to related record. I know some of you are like, oh my God, I want to go to related record, but no, I would prefer to keep it really simple like this so you can see without, because if you see a GTR, you don't know why it's working, so you have to go back and research it. I'm trying to keep you from having to leave the script to see what it's doing. It's why I code it this way. The script is self-documenting. You don't have to go other places to the field definitions of relationship graph to understand what it's doing. That's why I try not to use the GTRR. Plus, you can screw it up. Doing a find is really hard to screw up. Perform find. Okay, perform the find, okay? I'm going to assume for the time being that we always say if no records, whatever. I'm not going to do error capture, error checking right now, okay? Then we have a list. We're going to say sort the records, okay? And we're going to sort dialogues off. We're going to sort by we want the employee's name, or you could use the employee ID. I'm just, for simplicity, I'm going to sort by the employee name, okay? Everyone, so that's for people seeing this demo. That'll be great, okay? We say, okay, so we're going to sort it, okay? So this is where it gets interesting. So the idea is that right here, I'm going to comment this, and some of you, okay, that did take, okay, great. Copy data, okay, copy data, and then we're going to, down here below this, and it'll be this will be a loop, and we're going to program it to do it once, and then we're going to paste, and I'm not using copy paste, but you get the idea. Copy paste the data into paste the totaled aggregated data total into the cached table record. Okay, so then down here we know for a fact that we would probably just kind of, I'm jumping to the end here a little bit. We know that we're going to create an, well, but up front, we also have to create a new, pop a new window, right? Perform find, okay? So new window, perform the find. Now, one more time, we're going to perform a new window command. I'm gonna duplicate this and put it right here. So this is gonna pop the totaled, time cards, totaled. Okay, great. And it's going to go to the layout called aggregate, wherever that's at, cache or cache totaled, right? You understand? Cache means it's processed and saved there, okay? So this is the source area. We found it. Then we popped open the destination. I mean, you could, it doesn't really matter. The point is that we're going to go back. We're going to tell FileMaker which window we want to be in before we go there. But we have to spawn them first. So we spawn this, so we'll have one original window. We're spawning this window. We itemize, we localize the found set. Technically, I could move this one up here. Just it'll save us a couple steps. Pop this window, then pop this window. Then, and since we're on this window, we're going to perform a find and we're going to run through, and then we do the sort right here. Come on. We do the sort because this groups up. This is why I said, Mohammed, sort everyone together, right? Remember I said that, sort them together. Now look at the first person. Is he in there once? Oh, he's only in there once. Now we're down to that part. So this will be a loop, okay? But initially, we're not going to even get past the loop too much. So we're going to, let me go down here, put this down here. Is everyone following along? We're going to run probably 5-10 minutes late on this. Maybe.
That's fine.
You okay with this? Because Margaret, yes, you're going to need to do this. This right here is a very common request. Very. So we're on the layout. We're in the find mode. So we have the window where we're going to basically paste the data. And then paste the data into, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this over here just to have that. Cancel. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say there, that's where it's going to go. And then this one here. So we're clear about, so when we're doing this copy data stuff, we're going to be here. When we paste it, we're going to be here. Make sense? Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So we sort the records. We know that we're starting off on, from this part right here, we're starting off on the source, okay? And so what we need to do is we need to see, this is what we do. We need a way of backing backwards and forwards a little bit and tracking what's a duplicate, not a duplicate. This is where the PDF comes in handy. So I've laid all the framework out now. Now what we want to do is the process where I said, hey, Mohammed, is Brandon on here or is the next one down? There's no command that says FileMaker, look at the 3 records and see, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't work that way. It only can look at 1 record at a time. And so this is what this script kind of does. So what we do is that we come down here, and so we find the records we're looking for. We perform a sort. We go to record first. I guess I could do that over here too. I should probably make sure I put a sort in here just so I have it. Sort, I'm going to say go to record first. Okay, we got that. So that way, as we enter the loop, we're in a sorted state and we're at the very top record at the beginning. Okay, so then if we look at the way they wrote it here, what they do is they clear out a marker field, right? A mark field. Okay. I don't know that we need that. What we do is we do have this loop right here. And so what we want to do is we want a global field with the name, a global field with the name, a global name. And that tells us the person we're working on, okay? So it's where I said, remember just a moment ago, I said, Mohammed, look at the first record, and is that the same person on the first and second, third record? FileMaker is not that smart, right? So we have to say, Mohammed, write down the first person's name. We're going to write that no, it goes in a global. Okay. Okay. What's the first person's name? Brandon. We got first name Brandon. You can't see my writing here. Now go to the next record. Is that record equal to what you wrote in the Post-it note? No. Then go back to the previous record and process your total. Does that make sense? So we have to mark down what we're interested in, and we have to do a comparison. We're going to tell FileMaker to kind of go up and down and look at records.
So
that's what Mohammed had to do. You told him, I kind of cut the corner and said, can you look at the first couple records? But we can tell it we're interested. So let me define, well, we do a global, they use global fields in this. This is before the event of global variables. But a global field, global variable, this works the same way. And this explains the exact scenario right here. So I'm going to walk through this real quick. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that. I'm going to have this right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say on the very first one, we're going to say set variable, and this is the one we're interested in tracking. Okay, it's going to be global. I'm going to say employee to aggregate. Employee to aggregate. And the employee we're going to aggregate, we're just going to go by when we run this, we're going to be on the source side, which is a time card. We want the employee name. I'm just going to use the employee name. That's correct. Okay, great. I'm going to hit OK. So we capture the employee name. Okay.
Okay. And then how do you compare the employee name?
Hang on. Before we do this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, while we're here, we're starting the process right here. I'm going to say set, and if I make a mistake here, we will fix it. But what I want to do is I want to set another variable.
Oh, with the total time, right?
Employee total, and I'm going to put these words in here, so far, because we're not sure it's the total yet. So far, we're on the first record. We're going to go time card. I'm going to go to the hours right here. Okay. I'm just going to stick it in there. Okay. And then this might be wrong, but we're close. So what I'm going to do is we're going to logically walk through this, and if this is wrong, we're going to fix it. Because I haven't pre-cooked this script, so I'm not like rushing the bake job on this. Once again, this show will be over when it's over, but we're on the way there, probably pretty quick. So we're at the top of the process. We capture the name that we're interested in. We capture the total so far. Now we would go to the next record. Okay.
Oh,
in fact, it might be a loop and it might be a loop and a loop. So go. In fact, we're going to probably the loop and a loop is what I'm thinking. Go to record next. Okay. And
you said last. Yep. Down. There you go.
And I'm going to say exit after last is on. So probably what's going to happen here is that, okay, so I'm going to put another loop right here because what we want it to do is this outer loop is going to, outer loop processes all employees for a work order. Okay. I'll put a couple returns here. I don't know if that's spelled that correctly. The inner loop is going to focuses on one employee only. Okay, makes sense. So we got a loop there, a loop here. So we start off right here. And I'm gonna and so this is the beginning. We're focused on this employee. Now, Mohammed, you wrote his name down. Yeah, I wrote it down. I also put the totals. Now, is he on the next record? I don't know. We'll look at the next record. Okay, next record. Now, we get into the loop right here, and we say if the dollar employee to aggregate equals I need to go to the function here. So we're on the time card. So the name of the employee we're focusing on right now to aggregate, right? Mm-hmm. If it is equal to the employee name of the next record, so if this is true, then the next record it's the same employee. Okay. Then we're going to say
we're going to add stuff to that variable. So.
Yeah, we're going to add right here. We're going to say, well, okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to say equals the total hours of the previous.
We need to copy the variable into that variable, right?
Yep. It's going to be this one plus. So the previous value, the total so far. That's why I wrote so far in here. As far, that should be so far. Damn it. Right,
well, it exists now, and the monkey. Well,
I know, but. Far.
Oh, you double. Okay, go back and fix that up there then, because it's definitely not going to work now. Yeah, right there.
It's so we know it's something subject to change, right? So that's why as so far is the way it is. So we start with a person, we capture a name, we capture the total on their first record, then we go to the next record. That has to be in here.
Oh yes, okay. So it has to be inside the loop.
Yeah, because if we exit the loop, it means that we're jumping out. We're done with the employee. We've got all the employee action that we can handle. We're done. That makes sense?
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. It took me a second. Like, why do we need the outer loop again? Because you're doing
outer loop is multiple employees. This is just going to process the multiple records for
one employee. Got it. Yeah.
If they have one. If they only have one, they will exit right here and they'll pop out here on line 38 or down here somewhere. Okay.
Well, they should pop out still to the loop, yes.
So then this says if their match, then it's going to add them, okay? And then the loop continues. I think this is it. So then,
Don't you need an else that says if it doesn't match, go to the next one? Like exit loop?
well, when you hit end loop, it's going to go back up here and run the next one. Oh, we need an.
That's what I'm saying. You need an else.
The exit's right here. We're going to walk through this, okay? Trust me on this. We're going to walk through it. We got a loop there. Now we're going to say, well, basically what we're going to do is we're going to copy the copy data process is right here, okay? That makes sense. So this is the copy data process. And then now we're going to paste it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to say, I think it's select window. Didn't we learn this the other day? Select window, okay? We want to go to the window of the total cards, right? Go to total cards. Go to the name. So we can forcibly control the window we went, because we already opened this up. We're going to say new record. Okay. Then we're going to say set field. And we're in the cached data right here. We're going to say, let's just say the staff name for now is there. We're going to, let's see, I'm going to paste in. I need the dollar variable for the staff employee to aggregate, staff employee. I'm mixing my variables up there a little bit. That's fine. So employee to aggregate goes in there. Okay. And then we also want to make sure that on this record, we're attaching it to the correct work order, right? So,
yes.
Yeah. So
did we catch the work order up there?
Yeah, it should be a dollar work order to process. There it is. Probably should put that first. It doesn't matter, but I'm just makes sense. So set the project, set the employee's name. Then the last thing we're going to do is set the total that we did. And now we have the aggregated hours are going to be the hours so far, essentially. Hours so far. So once you're done with that, you're at the end of the loop, okay? And then what you would say is right here is you'd say another go. So then we're going to say, we're going to go back to the original window over here. We're going to go back to the source one where all the time entries are at. So we're going to walk this with a debugger, and this will make perfect sense to everyone. I think hopefully it's making sense now, but if it's not, we're going to go back to the next window. Then we're going to say, go to the next record. Again, go to next. Oh, it was already on the previous record.
Well,
hang on one second.
You don't need to go to the next record there. You just need to loop back to the top. Wait. Yeah,
this is one of those little boo-boos where you have to figure out your timing. So we're on the first record. We hit the first dude. Okay?
Yes.
Then we say go to the. So we're on the first record, dude. We go to the next record. If it fails, it says exit after last. So it fails out here. Then we go and we capture that person's stuff. So then we're going to jump back. So then we're done over here. That's good. I think we need to jump
to the next record.
We need to, yeah, but we're already on. It's not so much that okay, so here's the rub. Done, jump back to source table for next staff. And some of you are probably screaming how to solve this, but this is, by me doing this slowly, forces everyone to kind of follow along. Okay, so what we do is we jump back to the source window. We are already on the next person, assuming it hadn't failed. If it failed, yeah, see, there's no next up here, right? So we would have to go to the next. Well, the next was right here. If it doesn't fail.
There's no fail condition on that, not unless it's underneath the if statement.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is we've already failed. We jumped to the next one right here and would have bailed out on the person. But there's two scenarios we have to capture for. One is they bailed out because we've changed the staff, right? Hang on a second. If it equals that, we do that. Okay, the problem is right here, we have the condition where we're jumping to the next person. There's an answer to this. As only so far, I've coded all this in my head, and now I've hit the max of what my brain can handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through it on manual control, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to save this. We're going to say script debugger, okay? I'm assuming that the variables will be correct. We will look for that. What I want to do is put, oh, this is down here. It's already down here. So it should.
Okay, the portal exists. It just doesn't have any stuff in it yet.
Correct. Yep, in there, yep. So what I'm going to do is trigger or whatever. That's about, oh, yeah, just have it play through. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to be over here, and I say, let's total this stuff up. So run the script. So air capture on. I guess I'll do the data viewer so we have it. Data viewer, okay, down here, okay. And then we're going to say step, copy that value, which I can come over here. It copied the, there it is, 190829. That's correct. Okay, great. Maybe I'll put that down here for the moment. I'm going to step down here, new window. Okay, it's right here for those of you wondering. Okay, okay. And it did another new window. So I think we have two new windows. Okay, so this is the total time cards. And remember, they were in, we had the other ones we manually did, but we changed them to one over here so it wouldn't interfere, but we could reference it. The output, the final result should be this when we're done correctly, but it should be another set of three down here if it works correctly, which it won't quite yet. Then we say enter find mode, boop, enter subset field, boop, perform find, boop. Okay, now they happen to be in an order here, already in a sort order, but we're going to force a sort order. Boop. Okay, there we go. Record first. Boop. That was good. Loop always flush. Next, set. So this is the employee we're interested in, Brandon Davies, and he has 3 hours so far. Okay. Next record. Then we say go here. Next, exit where we want it to go to the next person here. Exit after last. So this exit right here will jump. That's interesting. That's going to jump out of, this is probably going to be early right here. I'm thinking that's early.
Yeah, my first thought is that it needs to be underneath the if statement.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop this right here. It's what you start to realize is that the sequence of events is a little bit confusing. And once again, if you're talking to Mohammed on the phone and you walk him through this step by step because he's really stupid, then you would have post-it notes. And this, what you're talking to, like a very IQ challenged staff person on their side, why we have to put, because we can't just say, look at the next two lines and compare them in your mind. We have to tell it to capture these things. So I'm going to move this to here. So what we do is we capture the data before we run the risk of jumping out. Okay. So I'm going to save that. So we try it again. Step. One window. Two windows. So we got that one, we got that one, okay? Then we got enter find mode, perform find, go to first, okay, that's good. Okay, set, okay? Now, if we're gonna, oh yeah, it has to be there too, because we have to go to the next record, but it could fail right here. If we say go to next record, the two possibilities, three possibilities, it's another Brandon, it's a different person, or you're at the bottom of the list. So this is a potentially interesting scenario, right? So we go to the next record. We don't want to add the value, right? You could say go to the next record and see if there's an error, right? That'd be another way of doing it, Margaret. Trapping for an error and not having it bounce.
Oh, that's interesting.
So
yeah.
if we say, what did Ned say? You can do the go to record okay. Go to record number via variable. This is portal. If this is a portal, you would save the current portal and jump. No. I am not going to try to jump through portals. Portal rows, Jess. I understand what you're saying. The problem is over the years and my years of experience, trying to manipulate portals within a portals is very dangerous because the behaviors will change. And from release to release, there have been changes in how that stuff works. And when you tell it to go to a portal, sometimes it doesn't even know what the portal is. You have to identify which portal and the layout to go to. There's a lot of little things that go into that. That's a totally different conversation. I don't think you could, the coding would be very different. So so here we are wrestling with this, of course, and it's I thought it'd be done, but we're not done yet. So I'm just gonna focus. I'm not gonna look at the questions right now. We say the loop. We have to go through the employee. Okay, we started with where was it going to be a first person, then we come down here. We say loop. Okay, we have to tell it to go to the next record. That is a mandatory sort of thing. Okay, hang on. What we're going to do is we're going to move this up. That has to be moved up. Okay. Then the scenario though is that it could be. Okay, so we need to handle all three scenarios and work that. This is the whole thing will come together real fast once we figure out this last scenario. So if it's next record and we exit after exit, If it's another person, it will come here. What you could do is we could always have it go backwards. I think I've done this before where we end up going backwards. So if it equals that, what I can do is I can say else, just for fun right here. I think this might be useful. Go to just, once again, you could do this 100 different ways, but once again, the idea is to do it without having a highly paid professional sitting there on your lap to help you with that. Okay. I'm being serious. So what is the logic for this? We go to the next record, okay? If the scenario we're testing for is that this scenario here is if it is the same person, it handles it right here. If it's not the same person, then we need to go to the previous record and I would say exit the loop too, right? Exit the loop, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to say if one, and I was yelling at Margaret about this the other day because Nick was being cute. So there's no command that says exit the loop, just do it. It's exit a loop with a condition. If I say 1 equals 1, some of you say, well, if 1 is not a complete sentence. It's like go. What? Go what? Fred. No, it's a whole sentence. No, it's is Fred going? Is the dog going? That's a sentence. Is 1 equal to 1? Yes. Then it will exit right here. So it goes to the previous one, it exits. Because it's exited the loop right here, then it runs the data collection on the other side. Perfect. Okay. Then we say, go to the source file, and we're on the correct record already, aren't we? So it's going to go back, and it was on the previous record, right? We went to the previous record. Yeah, we went previous. So we're back on Brandon. Then it says go to next. Okay. And then it does this again. So
Wait, why are we going to the previous record?
I cycled us back to get us off of that way we start on the next person. So then this command here would work correctly. Okay. That works correctly. The problem is that we cycled it back, right? And then let's just run through it. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. We're going to save this. Save it's out of the way down here. I'm going to run the script. Run the script. Debugger. Run script. Okay, here we go. Bang, 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 and then do the find and the sort and first record and hold right here. So sort, I'm going to call this is the source data right here. This is I'll bring it up here. Here's the source data up here, table data here. We're going to create new records over here, okay? So we're on Brandon first. Let's step through this logically. Down, capture this guy, capture his time. We have that down here. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to enter a loop to see if this guy has any other records. Okay. Go to next record. Yep. It didn't fail, but we don't know if he has another record. So we know that we're not out of records. All we know at this point is we're not out of records. Now we're going to step down. And did Brandon equal James? No. So we're going to go to the previous record. Ooh, and then exit the loop. Now we're going to select the total window. And we're going to create a new record and paste the data. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to go back to the current one here. So far, this is behaving perfectly. Now I'm going to say end loop. Boop. It's going to go back to the top and reset. Now here's the problem.
You need a next record thingy here.
Before, we needed it down here probably, right? We needed it down.
Well, you need it when you select when you're on the source card window. So before you select the total time cards, you need to be on the source card window and then go to the next record.
Right, that's where we're at, right when you're right there, Margaret.
Oh, yep, there it is. Okay.
I was trying to figure out if you were saying something I didn't understand or whatever. So I'm going to say edit and stop. And so we're closer now. Now notice down here, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to delete this data so I don't tamper my data. I'm going to close both records, or both those windows, sorry. Come back over here. See what happens, Dennis? It's all Dennis Child's fault. This wouldn't be that problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, go to next. We still have one issue here. Next record. Where's record? Go to record. Go to record, not next record. Go to record. There we go. Next. I guess I could say exit after last, whatever. It doesn't particularly matter because it would have already failed up here. That's our problem. We have to figure that one out. Okay. So I think this is going to work great. And then we'll get to the ultimate fail. So I'm going to save this. I think it's good. I'm going to close this. I got the script debugger right here. I got this over here. We have no relay data. We're going to run this again. So here we go. Run it. Bam. Step. I'm going to kind of skip us down. And then we're getting the loop. So here's the source. Here's the totaled. So we're on number 1 right here. And make sure I'm right there. So we're going to start stepping through this. Step, step, step. Flush. Go to next record. Does it fail? Does it match the person? No. So it's going to go to the previous record and exit this loop. Cool. Now it's going to jump to the other window, save the cache data for Brandon Davies. Perfect. Select the source window. Now go to the next record, in loop. Here we go. I think this is working correctly. See right there, now it locked on. I found the second one. Yep. Now it's going to, am I in? Nope, I'm good so far. Next record. Does James match Ken over here? We're watching right here. No. Okay. Exit. Okay, so then paste the next one. Ooh. Were they both 3, Margaret?
I
They
think
are
they're both 3. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. I was like,
that sample data, it should be a little bit different. Okay, so now we're going to get to this one problem, and this is in it, and it's only so much as I keep in my head at one time. Now go to the record next. Okay, now we're going to do this again, and I'm going to kind of skim through this, and you're going to see it sliding down here. Now, okay, now it's the next one. It's still the same. Okay, here is where that's going to go. Right here is where it's going to itself, because it's going to exit the loop right here. Record missing, so it exited when you say exit, when exit means the current loop, and if it's nested, it's going to exit the inside one, which it did. Now it's going to capture the last person, 11 hours. Okay, this kicks. My problem is all we needed was an exit right here. It was all done. It worked fine. I thought we had a problem. It's going to fail right here because it exits off. See? And then it's going to be stuck in a kind of infinite loop now. And it's going to keep repeating the last pile of shit. See that? So stop. Close. Okay. Come over here. Yeah, see it? Yeah, so that's what that is. This is actually working pretty good. So that's a source. This is this one. Delete, 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 delete. So the script is done, basically, from our perspective. So 30 minutes late, I apologize. I did not practice this. That's what happens when I don't practice, but then you get the real meal deal. I'm going to go to scripts. Here's the scripts. And then we're going to say on, okay? Then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to say, down here, we're going to say we have 2 windows that close. So we want to close the window. We can say close the name of the window, source cards, and then we're going to close the other window called, let me copy that. So we clean up, close the total cards. We should end up where we were. So I'm just going to save it. I'm going to close this, and this is on, close that. All right, so here we go. So you're sitting here, and you just alter in the script. Done. Does that make sense about the manipulation
yes,
and comparison? Does. And I went backwards to reset it to the correct spot, so when it came around again, it wouldn't lose its mind. Everything we did is consistent. It's a little confusing in here because you're telling FileMaker, compare one line against the next line, and that doesn't exist. So you have to stick the first line in a global, jump to the next record, compare it. If it's not the same, then go backwards, right? Or save it or do whatever, right? And so that's that comparison. And so it spins its way down. It's all based upon this code right here, which is from FileMaker 3. That's how much it hasn't changed. So you have one record, you're comparing against the global, and this demo right here says, oh, well, I want to only find the original records. I only want to find the original, like a whole bunch. Like if I said over here, I only have find one record from each of these people, original record. That's what this script over here does. I took it, adapted, and said, well, we're going to find original records, we're going to total, and then we're going to stick the values in a different field. So I took what they built and built it additionally. But the thing is now, here's the deal. I saw this built back 20 some odd years ago. I saved it. So I already knew so you've seen the answer to this. You'll know it's out there. You can we'll give both these files back to you. I'm not in any way complaining, Dennis. It's not, the reason this is not like a 15-minute demo is because unlike the AI demos that Claris does, I actually sat here and stepped through it step by step by step, learning and triaging as we go. Because I knew I had a pretty good idea. You can see we got pretty close. Then we ran like, I think 4 passes through it to try to watch it, because I could only simulate so much in my mind. Like I said, if I'm the smartest person in the room, we're all screwed. If you're really brilliant, you could simulate the whole thing in your mind and keep it straight. It's like people who do all that math in their head. I'm not that smart. So I actually get to watch it do it in slow motion and went, oh. And it turns out at the end I was done. I just had to have it exit. But this data is cached and saved. Now, if you run it again, you're like, well, I'm going to run this again because someone added more time. Oops. So what you want to do at the beginning of the script is find in the cached aggregated ones, find the records that are in there, delete them, then run it again. I didn't do that, so it just keeps piling on top. Jesse says the same thing. I really like watching the troubleshooting. It's nice to see what doesn't work. Yeah, my goal with the training is to get close and then struggle some, because people sometimes have watched Nick choke, and sometimes the biggest comments we've got were, I really wish Nick would choke more and slows him down and you can keep up with him. Everyone, we're going to close this out tomorrow. Christian Schmidt, Monkey Bread, with Monkey Bread stuff. Okay?
That sounds good. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.